Hey, what's up, folks? This is Pastor Charles Humphrey of Hope's House Christian Ministries. I'd like to welcome you to our Men's VIP Conversation. The VIP Conversation is a space where men are injecting men, and even women, with a dose of vision, inspiration, and purpose. Why, you ask? Well, the reason is simple. I know you have a big God-sized dream, a big God-sized vision, things you want to accomplish so you can impact the world around you. I also know that you have big opposition, big obstacles, big challenges ahead of you as you pursue those dreams. So we created this space to help you overcome the effects of procrastination, stagnation, and even intimidation of accomplishing that dream that's right before you, that's in your sight. So listen, we've assembled some great people, some great men who have experiences, backgrounds, and challenges they've overcame to pursue their dream as well. So I want you to pull up a chair, sit back, relax, and lean in and listen to these men as they share their vision, inspiration, and purpose with you. Let's get to it. Hey, what's up, family? This is Pastor Charles Humphrey of Hope's House Christian Ministries in Granada Hills. Hey, we're here doing this men's VIP conversation once again, and we are here specifically to get a dose of an injection of vision, inspiration, and purpose from some men who are doing some great things in life. I got one online with me right now, Dr. Marc Crear. But listen, there are some of you out there, men and women also, who have been faced with stagnation, faced with procrastination, and faced with even intimidation about the God-sized dream inside your heart. So we want to unloose that thing, unlock it so you can go forward and do some great things in God, great things in life to affect not just your life, but the lives of those around you. So I got Dr. Marc Crear, Pastor Marc Crear, Bishop Marc Crear. What's the title, man?
Just Marc Crear. I am who I am. Just Marc Crear to you. See there?
Marc Crear. Okay. So listen, man. I want to start with an obvious question. So those who don't know you, you from the hood, you from LA, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Went to USC.
Born and raised.
Huh?
Born and raised in LA.
Yeah, me too. South Central for days. Okay.
What point? You can't say that. You know, what point? You know, you're just not qualified.
It never leaves you. Huh? Well, let me this. I know you from before I knew you as an Olympic athlete, as a USC athlete. I remember seeing you back in the day, back when I was a kid, back in those days, jumping in hurdles for USC and then making it to Olympics. And I remember you running against the likes of Alan Jackson, those guys, some other great hurdlers, and making it to the Olympics, which is crazy because that's a really rare honor to be in that space. But beyond that, you carved out some spaces after the Olympic career. Let's start with what inspired you, first of all, as an athlete to just go for the gold and be in that space as an Olympian?
Well, man, that's a deep question, but I guess I'll try to summarize it up, Pastor Chuck. It's like people don't know, maybe they do or don't, but I come from and we all do to a certain degree, come from a dysfunctional family, but more importantly, an abusive childhood where physical abuse took place. The emotional abuse, you know, when you're a little kid, you don't know these words like abuse. You just think, you know, mama's beat me. And, you know, I didn't know my father. I met him when I was 15 years old. So I had a lot of issues. I had a lot of abandonment issues, trust issues, self-esteem issues. You know, there's nothing worse than, you know, going to get beat and fearing going home, especially when it's not your father.
Right.
So I had to overcome a lot of self-destruction, just being people of color for one, and living in that community, and also in the home environment. And a lot of us, you know, are suffering from what we call trauma. It's something called complex trauma, and this is just trauma that we have grew up with. That's different than the regular, you know, dysfunctional families, but the trauma of abuse, of neglect, of lack of nourishment, lack of support. So I overcome all that. And so therefore, you know, when I got into track, I didn't start track until my senior year. And it was a gentleman by the name of Frank Jardine. He was a high school narc. and I was just hanging out on the benches getting D's and one-legged A's. You know what that is.
Yeah.
And he came up to me and said he was like, "You can run track." And it was at that moment I was thinking, girls, shorts, tights. You ain't got to convince me. I'm there. We keep it at 100. But it was the first thing that I fell in love with, something that the more I worked harder, the better I became, something that, nobody could take away from me, And I think that, there's always that in anyone's life, is that something that you got to find. And it might not be glamorous. It might not be no NBA star or no superstar, but you can, something that really, validates you. You got to find that and stay encouraged. So I did that, and that led me to, it was a challenge going to Mount Sac, not having family support.
Wow.
I was working at UPS, going to school, not really caring about who, what, where, feeling sorry for myself. Remember one time, and this changed my life, to your point, when you're really down at the bottom, people can talk when you're up here.
Yeah.
They see the glory, but they don't know the story. They see it now, but they don't know the then. Oh, well, there was a time when I had a used motorcycle, and I guess I was depressed and not caring because we had picture day at Mount Sac. I went to junior college before USC, and I couldn't afford pictures. And mama wasn't around, and that was a very abusive relationship. So I was just driving recklessly crazy, Pastor Chuck, recklessly, just crying. I remember crying so much and not caring. The helmet was fogged up with my tears and sweat, and people were beeping at me because I was just running red lights. I just didn't care. I was just on a pathway to destruction. And then we stopped at this intersection because a train was coming, and a lot of people don't know about this.
Okay.
And the train was coming in, and I looked to the left, and it was this, I never forget, this white boy about my age walking. He had a white t-shirt on and some jeans and some black shoes, and he was walking on the railroad track. I'm crying, don't care about living, thinking about giving up, and then this young fella just walking on the track, and then a train was coming, and it was about 100 yards from impact. And, your mind can't keep up. You're thinking, oh, he's just playing, or he's going to, jump the track. So as the train got closer, the instructor beeped the horn, boop, boop, and the young man looked up. And you talking about a fearless person. He looked up and straight at the track and didn't move. But it was coming around, and, you have 2 and 3 different lanes.
Right.
So he was on the second lane, and the track was on the third. But that's still too close for comfort.
Well,
50 meters. 40 meters, 40 yards. Then he looked up and he realized that he was not on the same track, and he stepped over onto that track. And he continued to walk. And he did not break stride. He did not flinch. He played chicken, and he won, if you will, because he walked straight into that train. And the psyche of us and everybody else was stopping, beeping their horns. No. And they lifted that man up, and boom, just really, had its way with him. And then I remember at that moment, I said, nothing in life is worth giving up. Whatever this dude's problem was, he couldn't fix it. And at that moment, I came from a victim to a victor. I said, no matter what, I can let life take me out. And I don't know if the Lord placed that for me to see. This is where you headed, And the funny thing about it is, when something traumatic happens, you want to go see it. So I went to go try to find the body. Everybody got out the car, and we must have walked at least a half a mile and nothing. I remember picking up rocks and, thinking, nothing. And then we got about a quarter of a mile down. Then we seen the body, and it was just all ripped up. And I remember giving a police statement. He said, those pieces of rock that you picked up? And I was like, yeah. He said, no, don't throw them. That's evidence. That was his skull. That was a piece of his skull. Yeah, because, when bang. So I remember wiping off and doing all types of signals to get home. But sometimes out of your misery comes your ministry, out of your testimony. And then at that moment, things were hard. But, at that moment, I just wanted a hand up, not a handout. Right. And I think what you guys are doing, what this ministry is doing, is giving brothers and sisters, but brothers, a hand up, not a handout. Don't make a mistake. You're going to have to work for it.
Yeah.
But don't never cheat yourself by, cheating yourself.
Wow, that's a powerful, powerful story, which I did not expect you to go to, but man, crazy.
Yeah.
Those things, well, two things, the things that shape and change the trajectory of your life, some God ordained sometimes, you never see them coming. But at the same time, you talked about trauma. And so, and this is crazy because you're at Mount Sac, you're a good athlete at Mount Sac because you got a scholarship to USC and went on from there. So it wasn't like you were a total loser, but that trauma had such influence in your life that it made you want to be hopeless. And
over some pictures, over some track sports pictures.
Really?
And, but that's how the enemy and the adversary goes. And I guess we saw that in these Olympics too. And we can, transition, if you will, into, any vision and, purpose.
Well, yeah. Well, for you, and I'll fast forward because once Olympian, twice a medalist, right? And then also then going to get your PhD, a doctorate, and you're practicing in that field in emotional places, mental health places, traumatic places. So, and given the current discussions between Naomi Osaka and Simone Biles, so talk to us a little bit about the mind and the pressures of a top-notch athlete, world class, if you would. But we think they just pop it. We just think they always got it going on.
Beyond there. Like I said, you're seeing it. I got clients that play in the football league, and first of all, money doesn't make you more stronger. It doesn't make you more capable of dealing with life. Money just is a tool for materialistic things and also avenues to afford to get help. But now, because of the attention being made on mental health, there's a lot of free workshops, free clinics, free aid that's out there. And one thing that I have learned is, the stigma of, because I do more mental health coaching and it's basically almost the same, but a lot of brothers, especially, we don't like to think of going to a psychiatrist or a psychologist. There's a difference, and briefly, I don't think people really understand the difference between psychotherapy and counseling and coaching. There are different levels, and we all, even Jesus had to, push away in the boat. We all need a break, and especially a caring thing. But there's something I want to share. So with not just the top athletes, but with what the listeners of this. A piece is called Imposter Syndrome. Have you heard of that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And a lot of people don't really understand, especially minorities, especially men, and some women. I know Michelle Obama had it. Tom Cruise had it. Einstein had it to their admission. These imposter syndrome is a feeling of I'm not worthy, a feeling of I'm not qualified, when in fact you are. And spiritually speaking, God said we're the head and not the tail. We can do all things through Christ. We all things through Him. And sometimes that imposter syndrome, especially when you come from an environment of where put downs and insults and self-destruction mechanisms. I came from an abusive home, so I self-destructed myself. I remember, speaking of imposter syndrome and self-destruction, whether it's dysfunctional relationships, not being able to have the courage to reach out for help, or not having the mental, something called emotional intelligence to maintain that belief. But I remember I was, like you said, a world-class athlete, and I was unhappy. I remember getting ordained by Bishop T.D. Jakes during the ordination ceremony. How many people are ordained by Bishop T.D. Jakes? But I remember debating on whether I was going to go or not. I remember sitting at the airport telling my wife, I don't want to go. Wow. And a lot of us, because of that fear. And so when we really able to handle that, and that's where the mental health and all these athletes, and that's part of the package. But, I think that, you should prepare yourself mentally, because it's a emotional journey. Just recently, I don't know if you know this, a colleague's friend, it was a Leroy Burrell. He was a world record holder. Yeah. His son, I was with him like 5 days ago in Houston at the Junior Olympics, and his son committed suicide.
Oh, I saw the article. I didn't know, they didn't say what the cause of death was. I thought they said he just passed away.
Yeah.
He was serious.
Yes.
He was top notch like his dad was. I mean, he was
Yes, and had a Wife was 8 months pregnant, and now he's gone. So it's best to deal with it when it can. And I'm not coming from a perspective of, oh, I've never been there. No, I've been there. I've been the one that's mad at the world, the one that has been a victim and also made excuses. I've sabotaged myself as well as been a victim of others. But, courage is something that, you have to maintain. And that imposter syndrome, that self-belief, that, and you got to stop comparing yourself to other people.
Okay.
And that's the one thing about focus and a vision is, you can't look to the left and look to the right. You got to stay focused on what your gift is. And then just in short, it's like a band. If you ever been to an orchestra, you see all the instruments playing, and it's just one guy, he doesn't do anything to the end. He has those two little cymbals, and it's dun da da da. He waited a whole 10 minutes for the whole song, but he's the conclusion. But that one little piece makes the whole song come together. So sometimes you don't have to be in a light. You can just be who you are, and that's good enough.
Well, let me ask you this, and this is totally, and thank you for going this direction because we want these conversations to be really organic. But you mentioned men in particular, mental health, and I know that I've heard other football players about mental health more, not all, but they're getting there where it's not so much stigmatized. And and men have this thing we have to accomplish. We have to flex a little bit. We want to be on top. We don't want to lose. We don't want to fail. That's
right.
So we're talking in this space here, this VIP conversation. We're addressing men who want to be actors, singers, dancers, performers, movie makers, businessmen, entrepreneurs, all those different things. And the driving force with all of us, we want to succeed, want to fail. And we want to be able to pop our collar a little bit too. But we never want to show weakness. How do we negotiate those spaces that are uncomfortable that will help us be successful, but not compromise the mental, the real core of who we are? I mean, because the word is, I've heard the word poser, people fronting, all those things that we want to put on that good face. I told the guys, I want to take a picture by a nice Corvette and put it on and social media,
right?
so I can look like something I'm not really at. So, but we always have those moments, right? We want to look a certain way to the public, but the real us, how do we get past that superficial thing, man?
Well, that's a good question, but it starts with, you said, a lot of people are on this VIP want to be actors and entertainers and musicians. The first thing is you got to know who you are and whose you are and why you are. You have to know who you are. So I say to all those, you are an actor already. You are a musician already. Now you want to translate that and transfer that into a career, into a financial career, but you have to already be, and then you will be discovered. I think that if you find out why you're doing it, what your motives are, if you're here just to get rich, then, you're in the wrong profession. But if you love your craft, and it's a cliche, but if you enjoy what you're doing and just do what you're doing, then the attributes and the financial will come. But you have to have the right motivation, and you got to define what success is for you.
Yeah.
Again, it's like in a race. If you're running a race and you look to the left, you're going to lose because your stride pattern is different, your mechanics is different, and you're giving them energy. So if you look at the superstars, and they're rolling around there, you go to church and they roll up in their nice Bentley, and I got athletes that pull up in my office with Phantom Rolls Royces, white on white, and I'm like, can I borrow the car? Just get out there, get out front. But that doesn't make you, and half of them, aren't happy. So I think that the first thing is knowing who you are, and when I say that, really know, why you want to do what you want to do. If you have a passion for it, then you continue to do it. Don't try to be rich doing it. Try to be, don't try to make money. Try to make, success, if you will. If you're a cook, you want to be a famous chef, then you cook. Famous Amos started that way. A lot of people started that way. If you are a screenwriter, you can't just say, well, I just want to do this and get $1 million for it. You didn't start doing it, they will come. Build and they will come, so to speak. I met with a gentleman today, and he wants to be going to private practice. And I told him, just start practicing. Then it'll get private.
Private then.
Yeah, it'll get private. So you just, first of all, got to really know who you are. And there's a word that I want to share with you guys. It's called, and I give this to all my clients, and I'll give it to y'all free.
Okay.
No, everybody should have a word. And I declare this word to all those that are hearing this is undaunted. That's my word. You have to be undaunted. Undaunted doesn't mean you're going to have it easy. It's going to mean you're going to fall down. But, when I was at the 96 Olympics, I had a broken left arm. Mm-hmm. But I was undaunted. You could have shot me in the leg, and I was still going to get out there in some shape, size, or form and run. Nobody could take that courage from you. If you're trying to get validation from other people, then, of course, you're going to have ups and downs. But if you believe in yourself and quit looking for people to validate you, you got to be undaunted. You got to be, no matter what, I'm going to make it. And then, once you're undaunted, then you got to have the right game plan. You can have and then you got to work. You got the best plan in the world, but it won't work unless you do.
Yeah. The plan won't work unless you do. Okay.
Yeah, you got the best plan in the world, but it won't work unless you do. Right? So you have to, you got to, the hungrier the dog, the harder the hunt. Yeah. So you got to be hungry.
Yeah. That's my boy. Oh man, Les Brown. You got to be hungry.
Yeah, you got to be hungry. Definitely. You got to, and nobody can take that away from you.
Yeah.
And lastly, I don't think we talk about this enough, is in order to, have that inspiration, you got to truly feel uncomfortable. And I'm speaking to the men out there. In order to be successful and to grow, you have to feel uncomfortable. It's called growing pains. You're not going to, so whether it's readjusting your friendships, readjusting the people that you hang around, the environment, most rich people hang around rich people. You should want to be the dumbest person in the room, if you will, because they will pull, iron sharpens iron. And if you're all the time, the big fish in a small pond, then you're not going to grow.
Right.
Most records, and especially in the Olympics, are made when you have somebody that's right there pushing you. If you don't have nobody pushing you in your environment, then you're going to become complacent and, and start looking, I'm better than everybody else, but you're looking there, not up here. So you got to start being intentional with your business, being intentional with what you're doing, because, the only thing that's precious in this world is time.
Yeah.
And that's all, that's the most valuable thing is time. And, you still have time, but you don't want to waste your time.
Yeah.
You can't make that back up. So you got to be intentional.
Intentionality is a real thing. Yeah. Let me ask you this, just to change a little bit. And thank you for the discussion about health and just where people are at. What types of things inspire you to keep pushing forward in your career? Now, obviously, the Olympic days are over, and that's a driver right there, the gold medal, the podium, the world stage, huge driver. Once that is gone, because that's a huge drug,
sure.
What has kept you moving forward to want to help change lives or impact people? What's been pushing you?
Well, personally, I remember how it felt when I was at my weakest point.
Okay.
And now that I'm in a position, I don't want to, when I say forget where I come from, I know I did not get here. I'm standing on the, shoulders of giants. I'm standing on people that looked and said, hey, you need to run track, or hey, you need to stay focused, or hey, I'm gonna give you another chance in this class. You can make up this test. You get rid of that cheat sheet. I'm just saying I had one. I'm just saying you go wash your hands. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I remember those, and so I don't want to be guilty of not helping another Mark out, helping another me out. And that's my motivation every day. If I can say, I don't need all the glory and fame, that's God's job. I just want to be an instrument to help someone like people help me, because that's what it's all about. Going back and giving people a hand up, not enabling their behavior, but giving them a platform and saying, hey, it's okay. You messed up. Most of my clients are the ones that have messed up, and we're not talking about, look at the Ray Rices who, caught on video knocking your wife unconscious. Okay. But they still need to live. The Michael Vicks, it's good when you're, nobody knows your laundry, but what if you made some mistakes? What if you really, there's no exception. I just made a mistake. I was wrong. you still got to get up. And so I believe in a second chance because I received one.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now you wrote a book about your Olympic experience, and you mentioned the broken arm and things like that and everything. So, and I think the title is Why My Silver is Gold. My Silver is Gold.
Why My Silver is Gold. Yeah, I forgot. Why my silver is gold.
Go on, pump it up, brother. Show us the picture of the book.
Here it is. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I can't stand up because I wasn't expecting to, I got my shorts on,
okay.
Okay, so actually this is the one, it's my autobiography, and it's about the trials and tribulations of how I got to be where I'm at. And God really, this is a deep book. God really, blessed me to write this.
Yeah.
About how you overcome abuse, mental abuse, physical abuse, and going through the dysfunctional relationships, the baby mama dramas, to the divorces, to the self-sabotaging, this life,
a whole bunch of levels. Huh?
Yeah, but that's why my silver is gold, because you don't have to reach the ultimate top to be considered success.
Right.
Good.
That's a huge message, because and you said it already. We have to recognize what's success for me. For a kid who's struggling in school, getting a GED is a huge success.
Right.
A GED is my PhD is my GED.
That's right.
For some kids, So, for what are the things that we want to talk about success, because men crave success. We vibe off success. We feel less than if we don't succeed. If people look at us a certain way. What keeps you balanced as you're pursuing those successes, though? Because obviously there's ups and downs. You mentioned the crowd, and you've heard the crowd noise, and you probably heard the critics about you.
Oh my gosh, come on now. 1 minute you're getting off the plane and they picking you up in your private Mercedes, taking you to your suite, and then you lose a race, and then you got to catch the public transportation to the airport. I'm serious, in the same 2 or 3 days. So,
are you serious?
Oh yeah. That's But again, let me share this with you. I know we got to go, but let me share this with you real quick about what is success and how all this puts together. We're living in a society, and give me 3 minutes, and this is a little deep, but you men, you can eat meat and not just have milk all the time. Okay, y'all, gotta be tough out here. One of the reasons why, especially people of color, African Americans and Black, our humor, the way we laugh, the way we talk about each other, the way we discourage one another. There is a genesis from that. There is a why. If you notice, all the other cultures, they sort of help support a little bit more. They may, and I'm stereotyping, generalizing rather, 3 to a bed, 3 to a room, 3 to a house, but then next year, all of them got houses, all of them got homes. So, why do we as a people hate on each other so much? Why do we pull each other down? Why do we insult? Even our comedy is an insultive. Even our music is an insultive. And if you talk about imposter syndrome or low self-esteem, why is that? And let me be brief. There's something called post-traumatic slave syndrome. Dr. DeGroot.
Wow.
And PTSD, it's something called post-traumatic stress disorder. This is post-traumatic slavery by Dr. Joy DeGroot. And she is a wonderful woman. And it talks about slavery and how everything, when you're trained something and you're learned and taught something, you have to be untaught.
Untaught it, yeah.
So back in the day, during the slavery times, Pastor Chuck, when we had pride as a people, as a culture, we had pride, and we would be bragging. You see my son over there, ain't he handsome? You see my husband, he got this little muscle he got. And they'll be bragging to the slave master and to the help and pecking order. Now, when you say that to the slave master or to the crop leader, what is he gonna do? He gonna turn around and what? Sell that boy, sell that man. because yeah, thank you for bringing that to my attention. So now, in order for the women and the men to keep the family unit together at the plantation, they had to break him down. He's so dumb, he can't even run. Look at him. And that just, it's called cognitive dissonance. We just don't even know it. But we learned that, but we never unlearned it.
Yeah, devaluing.
Yeah, because so we can keep the family unit together. And that's why even today we discourage and we don't even know why. Because we haven't unlearned it. You have to do that because you don't want to wake up and your Johnny gone or your wife is gone because you and Brad, how she's so beautiful, how she hugged, like color purple. You so ugly, we so ugly. Exactly. Keep the unit together. And so there's a lot of things that we haven't unlearned. And part of that is the competition. We say as a man, back in the day, a man was one who come home every night, but now we're trying to compete with, we're trying to run a race with Usain Bolt, and we haven't trained in 2 years in practice. We're trying to be these billionaires but the Bible says, what profits a man to gain the world and lose your soul? That's not our culture. I want to get paid. That's all fine and dandy, but that's not how we got here. Greed did not get us here. Greed is why we were brought here, but not how we as a people succeeded. We're going to be compensated, but if we try to follow that recipe, it's going to be a disaster because we don't have the resources and the leniency and the second and third chances to do that. So we have to be strategic with what success is and really quit looking at everyone else and keep your eyes focused on what's really important, to you, not just as a financial guru, but with success.
Well, you kind of touching on the idea, and we don't have too much time to dig into it, but the idea of legacy, right? Because it's one thing for you to be great at what you do, but how do I bring others with me, create pathways for others? And that's what we want to do with this broadcast and even what you do, in your ministry and your business. How do we get others to a higher place so we can collectively raise our social status, in a very healthy way? Wow. Yeah, man, you dropping some knowledge on us, man. What's going on, man? I wasn't ready for all that, man. I was going to ask
man, well, I don't know if they know it's a little late at night, and I'm what's that? But I love Pastor Chuck. I think it's great what you guys are doing, and man, we have some follow-up videos, but there's so much to help the men out there realize that. And I want to speak to you guys that forget your bank account. You are already successful. You are a winner. You are already important. You just waking up on this side of heaven. You keep fighting and grinding and fighting and grinding. You are a winner. So don't look at your bank account to define you. There's a lot of rich millionaires in jail. There's a lot of rich millionaires who killed themselves. When a man hung himself on $1 million chandelier, robbing, he did. He hung himself. Unfortunately, it was a chandelier. But so you have a lot of people that have money, but if you don't have the character, then your money is going to be more of a problem. So I just look into your life. Quit looking to the left, looking to the right. You're already a success.
Amen. Thank you for your words, man. Listen, thank you for taking time out your busy schedule, late at night,
in the midnight hour. That's all right.
To drop some knowledge on us, man. And I love it because all the conversations I've had so far have gone different directions. I'm designed to pull out some things that will help men make progress, and you've all added a collection of ideas, thoughts, principles, guidance, experiences that have helped people see themselves and see what success looks like, in God's eyes and in their own eyes in a different way. So I applaud you for all the medals that you're yet to win in the spirit realm.
That's right.
God got some rewards for it, brother. Okay. Hey folks, listen, we want to thank you for joining us for this week's conversation. And remember, above all things, you don't have to be a celebrity to be a VIP. All you need to do is have a vision, inspire someone, and walk in God-given purpose. And don't forget to share this video with someone and drop us a note or message to let us know how this video was helpful for you. And we will see you soon.